welcome to the patch. Brought to you today by MeUndies. That's usually a graphic. There it is.
Hey,
I was waiting for you to stand up and just drop the pants.
Someday, that's what it'll come to.
We'll just charge extra for that.
Ooh.
Are you wearing your MeUndies right now?
I'm still waiting for my MeUndies.
Oh, really?
Have you got MeUndies?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
You like
because
them?
what happened
Yeah,
to
they're
mine?
It's probably the ones that I have
Jeremy's
now.
wearing them.
You took them? No, they had a bunch came by Achievement Hunter, and I was like, I'll take one of those.
So it sounds like that's exactly what happened. We were
Mine got
theorizing beforehand that the reason that Ryan's not wearing any is because the ones that came in for off topic, it was just a piranha frenzy, and he
It
was
was.
I think
there for
that's
it.
what happened. She took sizes beforehand, and I gave her my size, and then they were like, "Oh, they're here." I wasn't in the room at the time, so I guess I didn't get them.
Someone must have
They're-
been like, I want 2.
And then
They are
Gus is probably
girding
wearing
Jeremy's
like
loins.
7 pair.
Yeah.
All right, so
he
if
layers.
Jeremy's wearing them, then Jeremy, you got.
No, I'm not wearing them right now.
I mean, we'll never know till we look.
You guys.
Hey, so anyway, this time
No.
the patch we got,
Jeremy!
Ashley.
Ryan. We're gonna talk about some video games.
We
Yeah,
are.
we are.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Wow,
okay.
she fired in with something.
All right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Have you guys played Stardew Valley?
No,
No.
I've heard it's modded a lot.
No, it's
Oh,
not.
I'm sorry. I've been busy with AAA titles.
Oh.
Lame.
Yeah, no, they're. I mean,
Super
So
lame. No,
they
it's-
have. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, go for it.
Stardew Valley is not heavily modded yet. It needs a couple, I think.
There was a Kotaku post today about mods and Stardew.
But it's like turn a horse into a unicorn. It's like sprite changes, like really little stuff like that.
Listen,
Like
that
those-
could change an entire game for
Yeah.
you,
But
really.
I'm still waiting for the much needed mod of making the grass grow and spread faster.
I mean, it really turned
I mean,
Skyrim around for
really.
me when it replaced all the horses with My Little Ponies.
Or Thomas Tank Engine.
now, did you?
Dragons.
There were a couple of those Skyrim mods. Did you get the one that changed the models so they actually look like My Little Ponies, or just like painted the horses pink?
Back in the day, I did it was a mod video for Skyrim, which I did the player turn.
Skyrim.
Skyrim. I think you had
He
player
can't- have you
armor
noticed
or
he can't
something.
say Skyrim?
Skyrim.
Wait, Ryan can't talk? I didn't know.
Skyrim.
What do you say? Skyrim? Skyrim.
I don't know. Skyrim.
He says Skyrim.
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 Listen, people make fun of me because I say rum instead of room. But it's
Skyrim.
Skyrim. Skyrim. That's how you say
Right,
it.
it's Skyrim.
Skyrim. And you say Skyrim.
Skyrim.
So go on. You were
Continue.
making a mod
Anyway,
video.
no, yeah, and I think I turned the main character into a My Little Pony, and then I was riding a My Little Pony, and I was firing My Little Pony arrows.
So you were riding a pony as a pony, shooting ponies.
You got it.
See, the downside of that is that it means you weren't firing dildos. The pink dildo
That is
arrow
true.
replacement is one of my favorite mods of all time.
Does it like
Because they're
bend
giant
in the
pink
air?
wobbly dildos.
Well, the best part, I'm sure, is
and
when
then they
it
just
sticks.
like exactly.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just got cock and
You
balls
go up to a
hanging out of
dude
your
and there's
forehead.
just dildos hanging out everywhere.
All right,
Cock
so
and
Monument
balls.
Valley, what is it?
No, not Monument Valley.
no,
Stardew
jumping
Valley.
back, Stardew Valley.
Monument Valley, totally different game. Also,
that is another
fantastic
game.
Mon-
Okay.
yeah. What?
Well,
Yes.
someone was telling me about that other day, and I now have conflated them.
Monument Valley. That's a little bit more Fez-like. It's a mobile puzzle game. It's except the puzzles aren't really difficult. It's just very meditative, which is also a description I would apply to Stardew Valley. So, have you guys played Harvest Moon?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Dude,
Ryan-
that
I don't
was-
think
that
Ryan
was
has
my
anything like this.
favorite vampire movie.
Animal Crossing?
Yeah, no.
I haven't
Crossy
played
Roads.
it, but I've seen a lot of gameplay of it.
Okay.
Farm Simulator?
Fantasy Life?
Farm Simulator.
Tea Party Simulator 2015?
What
Okay,
you're doing
what
is explaining an entire genre that we
Okay,
have not
here we
played.
go.
Set
I'm
it up
just
for me.
figuring out how much I need to back it up.
Paint me a picture.
So this game, Stardew Valley, is a newly released title on Steam. Amazing game. It was actually made by one dude, which is a very impressive feat these days. It is an isometric pixel art game where it's a very, I think, appropriate opening for a lot of people these days where the opening, you're working at a desk job, you're one of like a whole bunch of people just at the desk. See, can
Looks
we pull up
very-
like screenshots or a trailer or anything for this game so
It
that
looks
they
very
can
Legend
see
of
this?
Zelda.
It is. So it's,
It's a
I guess
three-quarter.
isometric isn't quite the right description because you can't rotate the view at all.
It's a
Okay.
three-quarter top-down,
Yes.
but 2D essentially.
Yes, and
All right.
it's grid based, in the way
Yeah, like
everything is set up
Pokemon
and
is
placed.
what I was thinking when you were
Yeah.
showing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it looks a bit like that, but you one day you just get sick of this desk job. You open an envelope from your grandpa, and he says, "By the way, here's the deed to my old farm." So you move out to the farm.
what happened to me.
Start a new life.
Any day now.
Yeah.
Just any day.
Sounds
you're
like the
gonna open
beginning of
envelope,
Slime Rancher
Can you
too.
get a farm? And so it's not, like you move out there, you start with nothing essentially, and you can
There it is.
you can choose to build up your farm, plant
is that guy
plant crops.
That guy's
Trying to
fishing the wrong
fish
way.
on
That-
there
wood.
it is.
That might be me, actually. I think that's like about 20 seconds of gameplay I took when I was trying to figure out how to fish, and
What did you
boy,
use?
do I suck at it.
Seaweed.
Okay.
Unlike a lot of games, fishing is hard, but I'll get to that.
That's not fishing. That's getting snagged. You get seaweed.
Hey, look, algae is probably used for crafting, I hope, because I've got a ton of it in my chest.
Nice.
But it's one of those games where it's open-ended. You do whatever you want.
So Minecraftian.
Yeah. 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 So you within a
I like we're
certain
narrowing it in by
parameters.
establishing what it's not.
Yeah.
It is in that, like in Minecraft, you can go and you can set up crops and water them, or you can go off adventuring. So
Right.
in that respect, yes, because this game has the farms, or you can spend all your time being terrible at fishing and just getting algae, or you can go down into the mines and mine ore and fight monsters and that sort of thing. But it's not an open world. You're part of a village, so it's much more constrained.
Do you have to scratch out a living? Like, are you going to starve to death if you don't go?
No.
Oh,
no,
okay.
no, you don't. You're not going to starve to death, but if you don't maintain the farm, weeds take over. You can be poor, so you might not be able to buy a lot
Oh,
of stuff.
being
Could be
poor
poor.
is worse than
Sounds like you started
starving.
poor.
That's worse than
you do
starving,
start off.
man.
You do start off.
So
poor.
it's Farmville.
Farmville. What sort of yes? Farmville.
Oh,
was like
all right, we got a yes
Here
this
we
time.
go. Here we go. Here we go. We're starting to narrow in on your experience, which apparently consists of Facebook clones of Harvest Moon.
Oh, suck a dick, Farmville.
So I played Farmville hardcore for like 2 days and then realized it was just like shitty Harvest Moon.
Well, when do you
stuff.
start hitting up your friends to come help on your farm? That's the
You don't,
because
because it's single player for now. They're adding co-op in later, and then you'll be able to have. Please. Farmville is nothing but microtransactions. But it is farming that you do the crops. They take a certain amount of time to mature, and then you gather them up, and then you sell them, and that's how you make your money.
Okay.
And you can use that then to like buy more crops, or decorate your house, or buy cool equipment, or
All right, question.
yes.
How many crops does it take to buy fun?
Oh,
thing is
wow.
fun.
Okay, wow. Ryan is just not sold on this game.
It's a weird game in that there's no adrenaline rush unless you get to like 1 a.m.
Are there monsters you fight? You said something
Yes.
about monsters.
Yes.
That's
Oh.
adrenaline.
There
Okay.
you go.
Are there skeletons?
I haven't got to skeletons yet. I'm only at level 40 in the mines.
You're only at level 40?
in
We
the
mean
mines.
only. How
no,
long
no,
does it take to level up?
You don't level up. That's like the level.
You start at 100 and you level down.
You're like Benjamin Button.
You're digging down in the mines. So
Okay.
out of 120 levels of the mines, I've progressed through 40 of those
you
mines.
do level down.
Wait, so you got 40 levels down? You haven't found anything to fight?
No, I found a bunch of stuff, just not
What have
skeletons.
you
Oh,
fought?
okay.
I fought slimes. I fought giant caterpillars that are killer.
Oh, caterpillars. That's different.
Yeah, you gotta watch out
Vicious.
for the caterpillars.
So many legs.
Rock crabs.
They pupate.
Is it like a
Yeah.
rock lobster?
Yeah. I'm gonna just say yes, and we'll move ahead. So you can do like the fighting, and that's the mine is how you get a lot of ore to upgrade your tools or to go and craft stuff. There's also a crafting system, so
Okay.
you can make a beehive, and then bees will give you honey.
Honeys.
Hun-
Honeys will all
Honeys.
flock in.
Oh, that's how you get the honeys. I thought it was gonna
Speaking
be
of
like 12
honeys,
wheat.
there is also romance. You can choose to romance some of the honeys around town.
So you say it's
Get
not an open
married
world.
eventually.
Yeah, is it like the same world for everybody that plays? Is it gonna like a uniform map?
I suspect, based on the layout of my town, that it's unique for each person.
Oh.
That each each one is a little bit different. And I say that because some of the paths to get around town make no goddamn sense. So they have to be
yeah,
randomly
okay.
generated because
got
no
that
one who was
Minecraft
actually
village.
planning it would fucking do that.
No city planner would have touched
So you can't
this.
like go
Yeah.
out exploring into the woods or something.
No, there are big areas around the town that you can go exploring and foraging in because
Okay.
if you want to go out and cut down a bunch of trees because you need wood or chop up rocks or whatever.
That makes
If
sense.
you've cleared your farm out, then of all those resources, then you have to go out and forage them in the wild.
Got it.
Is it randomly, or I mean, does it continue to generate out, or can you
No.
cut down all the trees in the world?
No,
and
it's
then you're
constrained, but
like
you-
Japan.
You could, but I don't think you could before they grow back in.
Okay, very
There's-
fast-growing trees.
Yeah,
Right,
there's
they're
a
like fungus.
There's a definite rate of just attrition. It's all coming. It's all coming for your house.
Do you have to replant them, or they just grow back?
They seem to mostly grow back. They seed
Okay.
themselves, so whatever trees are
Missed
still standing
opportunity.
will drop acorns or whatever and seed themselves.
Okay.
And it's got seasons, seasonal crops. You guys, you guys.
Oh,
But all right, it is impressive because you said it was made by one person.
It was made
right?
by one dude.
That's pretty impressive.
It's
That's impressive.
and it's already over 300,000 copies sold.
Wow.
Which is
sold.
phenomenal.
Is it free to download, or is it?
No, it costs. Let me look up how
Ooh,
much it
this
costs.
guy making bank or girl.
He's doing really well for himself. Concerned Ape.
I can see how this, from what you're describing, I can see how it's got all those little like time killer hooks. Where
It
it's
is-
like,
there's
I'm
always-
just gonna plant a little bit more. You know,
Yeah.
I gotta work on the
Exactly.
backfield.
I'm just gonna go through one more day.
You know, I just
I'm
really
just
need
gonna
to
do
mow.
this one thing.
I need to
It's
go outside
there's
and-
there's
Need to get out there
always
and mow.
something to do, always.
Uh-huh.
But there's not a huge rush, so it's like relaxing industry.
It's like
so
what
there we get
people
back to
imagine
meditative.
being living on a farm would be like, and not like the corporate nightmare that it actually is.
Yes,
Got it.
Yeah,
exactly. So this game costs.
I like that term, meditate.
It's $15.
Peaceful.
Yeah,
Zen.
I'm into games like that though. Like as soon as we played The Witness and that Let's Watch, I immediately bought it.
Well, that's very different from what she's describing.
Well, but
this
still, it is
yeah.
one of those games that like, yeah, there's puzzles and stuff,
Yeah.
But you
it's
go
just
around
very,
at your own pace. You
Yeah,
do
exactly.
whatever
coming for
want.
you. You're safe.
Just look at stuff over there.
Like
Like,
anything will give you a hug if you want it.
yeah, I've played a lot of games that are just you're in an open world.
All the
and-
people in the witness giving you hugs.
Yeah, you just walk around, and look
Everyone.
at stuff. I've played
Yeah.
a lot of games like that. Like walk around and figure out the story by
Uh-huh.
looking at things. Like, I don't know, I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice game. I spent this weekend. I clocked up like 15 plus hours because
That's
it's
a
like
lot.
all I wanted to do this weekend, and I would get to the end of the day and be like, I'm just gonna stay up a little bit longer,
So
a little
it's,
bit longer.
It's Steam, I assume, right? Or is it?
Yeah, it's
mobile?
on Steam.
Okay.
This would be a great game. I'd love to see something like this port over to consoles, to 3DS, anywhere really, because it's just so charming.
Charming. Oh gosh, what was the other thing I heard? Oh yeah, I think I was watching like House Hunters or something the other day, and it was like every time they entered the house, it was like, oh, I don't like this. It was like, it's so charming.
That was a bad thing.
That's
You
a
think-
bad thing. Charming means like, it's ugly, and it's not what I want, but it's charming because I don't want to say that this is awful to your
Well,
face.
that's not the way I mean it.
Okay,
I mean
hey.
that it's got a lot of charm and I love
She's
it.
like
It's like how
like
people
Prince
say-
Charming.
It's
Yeah,
like, oh,
like
okay.
Prince
Charming.
It's like how people say babies are cute. Like babies are ugly. I mean, inherently, babies are not fun to look at.
Babies are, like,
they're
weird.
wrinkly and they're usually bald and in several
Kinda
cases
reddish.
They can
covered in
sometimes be
stuff.
cute.
Possibly blotchy.
They're really not. Really, yeah, no, they're not. They're not
they're
cute.
they're
but-
a miracle, but cute's a stretch.
I guess.
yeah, that's what. And cute. Yeah, cute's one of those words you throw around for like, oh, it's that pug, and pugs are just ugly.
Or if you want to get really patronizing
Pugs
and
are
be
pretty-
like, oh, yeah, that's cute.
That's cute.
Yeah.
That's usually the commentary I get.
Well,
on my
according to
attire,
this
yeah.
episode, nothing's cute anymore.
No,
Things
yeah,
aren't.
we've undermined cute and
Charming.
charming. There
yeah,
we go.
they mean zero anymore.
Well, meanwhile, in the world of games that are AAA, The Division just came out.
Yep, sure did.
Yep. Did you guys have any of the issues with it?
I had a weird thing where I completed a, well, okay. So I started playing it yesterday at work. I played for a little while and got to you start off in Brooklyn and then traumatic event, and then you end up in, you finally get to lower Manhattan. And so I got over to Manhattan and was just kind of got distracted immediately by a few side missions. And I lost the objective to do the main story mission.
Which is weird. Yeah.
It just went away.
You
And
did eventually get it back, though, right?
yeah, later on I logged out, and when I went home and logged in from there, I logged back in, and then I had it back. But I was weird because I was like, I'm running story missions. I know that I'm supposed to do something, but I don't have it set anywhere anymore. Like I don't know where to go to get it.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
The game itself is very. It doesn't really hold your hand in any way about how you do anything.
Nope.
You run across all sorts of objectives. Like I've run into an echo thing already, and there's which basically does like this scene recreation, and you see something that happened in that location. I don't know what it wants me to do now. Like there doesn't tell you to hit a button or anything, or at least it
I
hasn't
think they're
popped
just
up.
collectibles. Like as soon as when you
Is
see
that
it,
it?
I
You
think
just
it
see it and
logs
it's
it.
done?
I think it is.
Okay.
We've been avoiding collectibles. I haven't gotten
Uh-huh.
a single one, me and Jack, because we were hoping to make a map for it.
Oh God, help
So like
me.
anytime we see one, we just avoid it because I think there's close to 300.
There is a perk I noticed that you can unlock that reveals the intel in a location after you do something.
Yeah. So
Maybe it's complete all missions in that area.
I picked up that one. So
Okay.
I'm hoping that we can use that. It will reveal everything, and then we can make a map for
Yeah.
it. If we, but that game, it's one of those games I know that I'm not blown away by it, but I'm gonna sink a ton of hours into it. Like it's just that
Professionally or for actual fun?
for actual fun.
yeah, I don't know.
Just with you guys, I have to check.
It's fair, and
It's- We're not gonna play like professionally wise, as in terms of like making let's plays and stuff. It's one of those games that's fun. Probably doesn't make good videos.
yeah, I don't know that we're going to be able to make too much with it. The missions, I guess, are. It's the same thing as playing the game. Like it feeds on that. I just need to accomplish something. Like it has so many opportunities for you to start and finish a mission really quick. A lot of the little side missions so far that I've run into are just, oh, there's 5 guys over there. All right, I killed those 5 guys.
Done.
All right.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you finished the side mission.
Okay.
It does have a weird thing where it likes to send enemies at you in groups of 3.
Yeah, 3 or 5 if it's feeling bold.
What size is your strike team?
Up to 4.
I mean,
Oh,
I've only played by myself so far. So you encounter a group of 3 guys. Right about as you're killing the last guy, another group of 3 will come.
Okay.
So it just keeps sending waves of 3 guys at you. And I wonder if that's... I've seen when you and Jack were playing together, you actually got a wave of 6 at one point.
Maybe it was actually just 2 waves of 3. One of them got lost on
It's
the way.
possible.
Me. Yeah, one of them just went for a soda
It could
first.
also be because we're at a higher level. The only thing that sucks is, Jack and I have been leveling up. We've been playing a lot. But like, we haven't seen too much variety. I mean, there's 2 types of enemies, There's ones with...
Yeah.
There are 3. There's ones with like a melee weapon, one with guns, and ones with a flamethrower. That's it.
Yeah, well, then you just encountered, and I've seen one almost exactly like it before, like a hero boss, essentially.
Almost every mission, because there's like side missions, there's encounters, and then there's missions. Almost every mission has a boss at the end who's just an enemy with more health.
Right.
With a big shield, essentially. Like, because you lay into them until the shield's gone, and then their health drops
Right.
really quickly.
No, in the case of that one, it was actually a giant-sized enemy, too. He was an oversized
Oh yeah,
guy.
and the models, they're a little bulkier.
Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're just the regular old smaller guys. And
You
they're
know-
slightly smarter than the regular enemies, who a lot of times will just wander out of cover
Oh yeah.
and just kind of stand in the middle of the street going like, I got him, I got him.
Well, that's Darwin, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
You would have thought that
It's
those guys
fate.
would all be gone when the rioting and the general mayhem started. Though
They-
maybe they were the cause
They were
of
off
that.
getting a soda.
Oh, yeah, there you
Yep.
go.
They're just there to loot, and like that's the other thing with the game. Loot is another big part of it. Kind of.
Is it though? I feel like, and I know they went 100% with the Destiny model where there's basically common items, just the gray. Then there's green, which is sort of rare.
Uncommon. yeah.
Uncommon, yeah. Then blue, which is rare, and then purple, which is I forget what their actual
Yeah, I know
nomenclature
that
was.
the next one,
Yeah.
yellow, is called high end.
right.
I don't know what the purple one is called, but,
But that's even the
essentially
same
it's
color
legendary,
progression.
Yeah,
yeah, it's exactly the same color progression.
same with
it's just
Destiny
a different word.
Borderlands use the same colors. But maybe that's a good thing that's kind of standard across games
Do
now.
you know what you're getting when you
Because nothing
find
would
it?
suck than starting up a new game and seeing something yellow and being like, oh, wait, wait, and then you're like, oh, wait, that's what the low one is in this
Right.
game, then switching back. I like that they're keeping that standard. But you were saying earlier, because Ryan walked in this morning and was like, oh, you've been playing Destiny? We're like, yeah. And he goes, have you found the
Or
fun
the
yet?
division, yeah.
That
You know,
was his
he-
comment. have you
He
found
has,
the fun yet?
he
I'm
has said
digging
that
it.
about Destiny for so long, and yet he's still been playing.
Well, no, we actually meant the division, but yes, no, Destiny. I hate to say it, but I think Destiny so far is a better example of that type of game than the Division is.
I think
now,
so as
Would
well.
you
the
would
Division
you
does
say
have
that
an interesting.
would you say that launch Destiny is better than launch the Division?
Yeah.
Because it's definitely had like Destiny's had a lot of time to find
close.
its feet, build content, and make
That's true.
improvements.
I have
But it was a
trouble
very
even at
different
this
game
point
at
even
launch.
remembering what launch Destiny was. But I think it was kind of the other thing I said about the Division early on was, well, if you thought that Destiny started nowhere, then the Division really starts nowhere. You get
It's true.
you get a cutscene like, this is how the world got fucked up. All right, go do something. And then you just wander around for a little bit. And
are you
then
by chance found by a robot in a car with no memory of what happened to you before?
you could consider some of the acting robotic.
Oh, the acting's not good. Yeah.
It's yeah, so you do a couple side missions and then you are in a traumatic event and get moved to a different place, which is where really the game begins. There's still very limited kind of story progression. But it is at least more cutscene-y than Destiny was. The thing that is kind of interesting about it, this is what I'm going to say in its favor, is the idea of having this kind of almost pseudo RTS feel, where your first real big objective is to rebuild your base, which has 3 different wings, which grant you access to skills, perks, and talents to upgrade your character. And to do that, you have to go out and complete all these little encounter missions to acquire specific types of resources to upgrade each individual wing after you have done an initial mission to liberate the commander of that wing. So it's going to be a lot of doing those little short side missions will give you credits, which will allow you to upgrade your base, which each wing has 10 upgrades.
Yeah.
Some requiring anywhere from 200 credits up to 1,000 credits. And you start with, I think, like 500 because you have to upgrade your initial one immediately upon liberating it.
Yeah, and I just wonder though with stuff like that. I mean, they give you can upgrade this 10 times. Here's the 10 upgrades. Once you're done with that, like once all 10, where do you go from there?
I think what they were going for, because there's another whole mechanic in the game that seems at least early on to be very difficult to make any good use of, which is the crafting mechanic. So
Yeah.
it also has a whole system where you acquire blueprints and acquire resources as you're walking around. You have to oh, look, there's an electronics store. Let me just go take all that
You can
stuff.
dismantle stuff as well.
And you can dismantle things,
Yeah.
but all I've gotten out of that is
And
weapon part or fabric.
fabric. Yeah.
Fabric.
Yeah, well, hey, that's
What were you
important
just
when you're
saying?
building
Clothing.
armor. Look, you're not just an activated agent of the Division. You're also a seamstress. Or what's a seamster? Is that what seamstress seems
A
like
seamster?
Yeah, a seamstress
I'm
seems
gonna
like a
Google this.
feminine. A tailor. Is it tailor and seamstress?
Here comes
But
Taylor
can't-
Jones.
I don't know. It seems like you should be able to be a tailor with either
Or
gender,
a
right?
tailoress.
A tailoress. There you go.
Oh,
Tailoress
so,
sounds like a weird walrus.
so
kinda
people
thing.
use tailor, but there is in fact a word for it, and it's seamster.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Nailed it.
Seamster.
But- yeah,
sounds like,
but-
sounds like a Pokemon.
But more generally used is tailor. Well done, everybody. We did it.
We somehow managed to come up with all the right answers.
We languaged.
But I think
It's nice to know that you can just guess at English and get it. right.
just take a wild
Yeah, exactly.
stab.
English ain't that hard.
What you said is perfectly normal speech for where I come from.
It's true.
It's totally acceptable.
Yeah.
So I think that I like to think that the crafting is going to kind of take that role of grinding out exotics in Destiny, where you'll just have to build things, and the materials you need to upgrade things are also classified by green, blue, and I think
The mods, right? You
yeah.
mean,
Well, no, the actual build materials have the same rarity system built to them. So to make what was the yellow version? It's a
High end.
High end. To make that, you have to make high end materials, which you can you can take 2 blue tools, squish them together real good, and make a high end tool. That is an option in the crafting system. So it may be just a lot of acquiring that stuff and then building it up to make the really good gear.
So it's resource grinding.
It might be.
Probably, yeah.
The resources in this case just happen to take the form of shops that you just go in and raid.
I get really nervous about how rare high-end stuff is going to be, because what happens with games like this is all of the guns and all of the armor has levels, and so as you level up, even stuff you have that's blue and really good that becomes useless when you get to a higher level. Like you could get something gray that's better. So even if you get an orange, like a high-end gun that's really awesome, in 3 levels it could be worthless. You gotta
Right.
find a all new one.
What?
Demon Haze on Twitter would like to say to Ryan,
Uh-oh.
that would be the point of doing the story missions, Ryan. You can't moan about new story when you don't play the story.
What does that mean? I'm trying to do the story missions.
He's trying to
Yeah,
do the story
Ryan.
missions.
I've been playing the
Wood.
game for about a day. I've been
So-
playing as much of it as I can.
No,
What do you want
there-
from me?
There are, as I understand it, because I haven't actually played the
There
division,
are also story missions.
There's,
There are-
there's sort of
yeah.
like a single player element, but it's also online.
It is very similar to Destiny in that all the missions can be undertaken as an individual or as a group. You can try and find a group of other people and go do it. I did neglect to mention that aside from just the story missions, there are or the side missions to get materials. There are story missions for each one of the 3 different branches as well.
Right, and that's the best way to get parts for them.
Right.
And the other thing about the Division, speaking of multiplayer and other people, is that there is a zone in the city that's walled off, but there's certain places you can enter it called the Dark Zone. Right?
Yeah.
Dark Zone.
And that's PvP?
That is PvP.
Right.
So when you're in there, you can fight other players. You can't do it anywhere else in the city. Jack and I have gone in a couple of times. It's a bad place. It's real bad.
Well,
like
it's called the Dark Zone.
but it's just people who
They aren't kidding.
No.
It's like the Middle
They mean
Ages
it-
in there.
you gotta have a group.
They warned you.
need a group.
Shit gets
going in.
medieval.
If you're alone, you're gonna get bullied.
Is it just free for all? Like, how does it work?
Well, you can go in with a team. Like Jack and I went in together. I think I still could have shot Jack if I wanted to.
Oh, it's a good question.
I can't really remember, but
And you didn't try
I don't
it?
think we killed each other in the
did
Let's
not
Play.
try it. Yeah, you guys did a 4-player
Yeah.
Let's Play. So I don't know if there was
And
friendly
we-
fire.
And
know,
you
we
didn't.
would-
Hold on. You guys did a 4-player Let's Play, and you didn't kill each
We
other.
absolutely.
But-
I'm pretty sure we tried, and you
What
couldn't
is-
shoot each other.
What has happened to Achievement
But
Hunter?
what was cool about their Let's Play, Jack and I never got that far because we're not good. But they went in, the 4 of them, started killing people. And what ended up happening is because they became such a menace, it sent a message out to everyone in the Dark Zone. These guys are the bad guys. You need to kill
Yeah.
them.
Really?
It
So
puts a
then-
bounty on your head,
So everybody came for them.
and everybody won.
yeah.
We fought off like 1 or 2. It was really funny because it still devolved to like a wave kind of thing where one wave came in and we
Because
fought
not,
them off.
not everyone gets to you at the same time.
Yeah.
Essentially, well, I think it was 1 or 2 groups of people that eventually brought us down. But the first wave came in and we took them out, and then they respawned and came back with more people and completely annihilated us.
As you do.
Well, I thought we had a real defensible position at the top of a ladder, an area that could only be accessed from one
From a
entry
ladder.
point. As it turns out, we can't defend a ladder as a 4-man team of guys with guns.
Yeah.
No, that sounds more like Achievement Hunter.
That does sound more like Achievement Hunter, yeah.
But I think also, I know there's upgrades for it, but I think that you can there's really good loot in the Dark Zone. Like,
So the whole point of it is you're doing extraction missions, right? So you acquire missions, or you acquire stuff, and you have to take it to the extraction zone and then hook it up to a helicopter, and it gets lifted out, and you have to defend it while it's getting lifted.
Okay.
Right?
I think so. Like Jack and I went in, we killed
Didn't
a
make it
couple of
that far,
guys,
yeah.
and then we ran. That was it. That was our experience at the Dark Zone. But yeah, I believe that's the way it works.
That's basically, or at least what I was describing is how it worked in the beta, but we never really got a firm grasp on the mechanics of it, so I need to go back in and really explore that some more.
Yeah.
But if what your experience sounds like, they don't really make it a level playing field in terms of levels or gear, so you could run into,
Oh yeah.
as a level 10, you can run into a level 30 who is just going to have a fun time showing you the ropes.
I mean,
Is-
yeah, it was rough.
It was gross, yeah.
So I'm assuming Dark Zone's got to be instanced, right?
I'm sure it is. Yeah, it's not going to be like server wide, but a lot of these group settings where most of the time you're walking around, it doesn't seem like you encounter anybody. But when you go into certain areas like safe houses, that's where you see other people, and it's a lot. There was especially one instance where on launch night they were having issues with there was all
favorite
kinds
thing.
of things. There's one point where you had to interact with a terminal, and it just wasn't working. So people kind of assumed that it was just too many people trying to do it at once. So somehow the entire server ended up working together to form a line in front of the terminal. And there's great pictures of it. It's just this like 3-man deep line extending out the door.
Oh, I've seen the pictures.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
pretty awesome.
I've also seen the griefing where all someone has to do is stand
Yeah,
in
Jeremy,
the door and
what's
no
that
one
like?
can do anything.
I don't know, but there sure as hell isn't a video of that coming out soon. But, like,
What's this?
the griefing that you can stand. Yeah, so you can stand in a doorway, doing jumping jacks if you're me and Matt, and that's what we did. We went into a safe house and stood in the doorway. So like when you go into a safe house in the game, you run back out straight into the open world. Like there's no loading screen or anything. You just run back out. But you can block you can't go through other players. So if someone stands in the doorway,
And it also looks like you
can't
can't
leave.
move the players very much.
You
Like
can't
a
push
lot
the
of times, if there's a game where you can't pass through the other players, you at least bump them, and you can eventually bump them out of the way. It looks like that's not
no, can't
necessarily
do that.
They're
What people
impassable.
figured out is that if you keep running into the person, eventually you will like clip through them, and then that's how you can get out. But if people just walk into you, they'll give up, and
try
then they
and-
have to teleport to another place to get out of there. So Matt and I did that for a little while and found it very funny. Got a lot of angry messages.
You
But
stood in the doors.
oh yeah, of
course you did.
Well, to
stood in
make
the
a
door
video, I mean-
for we were recording it
For science, yeah.
about 25 minutes. Just stood in the door and blocked people in.
People get so mad, understandably, because that is basically game breaking. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many so many opportunities in this game. It seems like to really just be a huge dick to other people.
You guys played the beta, right?
Yes, that's what the
How
Let's Play
did
we
this
shot was
not
beta.
come up in the beta?
Not as many people.
Yeah.
I mean, but even so, wouldn't they have just had fewer instances spawned?
You know, it's one.
Bless you.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I imagine, like the monkey typewriter Shakespeare conundrum, where just somebody did it by accident, and then someone saw him do it by accident, and it spread
And they
virally at
figured
that
it
one
out,
point.
yeah.
But it takes that one guy that's like, oh shit, let me go answer the door while just standing in a doorway, and then coming back and discovering a line of people who were just pissed off behind him. That probably set it off at some point. And until someone, I mean, because who thinks, I bet I can just block this door up and ruin the game for everybody.
Well, I mean, there was stuff like that in every game. Destiny had something like that when originally there was that whole loot cave
Yeah.
nonsense, right? We just stood outside, shot the cave, went in, and came back.
Hey, that wasn't
You don't
nonsense.
call
That was
that
a
Luke
legitimate
nonsense.
strategy.
It worked. Every
Sorta.
now and again, someone would drive up to the loot cave and just stand in front of it and then leave their controller, so
Be a
nothing would
dick.
spawn.
Yeah.
Zero Assassin 23 on Twitter says that they were the line organizer for the division.
Oh, really?
Yeah, got it working.
Well
Man,
done to you.
Props to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Way to bring order to chaos.
Jack
It
and I
was me-
luckily didn't encounter the
I
line.
saw
didn't
some.
either.
I saw some screenshots of that Meg was showing me yesterday, and there was one of those shots of the line, and someone in the chat is saying, "Are you serious?" And it's like, "Yeah, don't cut,
No cutsies.
don't cut, bro."
But, like, what could you do? You know,
Really? Yeah.
there's
There was
no punish-
absolutely no repercussions.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that I imagine with them filling up the line that much, they were probably blocking the door.
That's true. That's a good
So you
point.
had to
couldn't
waste-
actually get in until the
Uh-huh.
line got far enough.
That may have been the origin of the other
That's
little thing.
that's pretty funny, actually.
Maybe I could see that being the way you found out about it.
But I mean, other than that, I am enjoying when I'm playing in it. And I'm going to keep playing it for a while and see where it goes. I'm worried that it's going to fall off,
Oh, yeah.
and it's going to leave me in a bad place. That's what I'm worried about.
What kind of gamers would you recommend the game for? Like if they liked Destiny, but are just over it, or
It's not Destiny in a lot of ways. I mean, the combat system is very different from Destiny. It's got a lot of similarities, and like especially if you were to look on paper, it looks apples and apples. But just the feel of the shooting in this game, especially because it's a third-person, like cover-based shooter
Yeah.
instead of a first-person, just get in there and rock 'em, sock 'em kind of thing. It does still have a lot of the same kind of general things. Like didn't Jack say he got like an extra heal ability, and then it had the same thing where it was like a double bumper pull?
Yeah,
Gave him
well,
like a
left bumper
super-
does something, right bumper, and then both do like something awesome.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, Destiny did that. Call of Duty did that with
Yeah.
like the two bumpers, and I
I'd
guess
say-
that might just be the new control for that now.
Yeah, I'd say it's if you are a Gears of War / Destiny fan, This would be somewhere in the middle between those two.
Yeah, like if you like the gameplay of like the fighting gameplay of like Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Like, run to
Yeah,
cover,
yeah, that's a
run
good,
to cover, poke out, shoot, back into cover. Like that shooting mechanic is very similar.
It is.
So it sounds a lot like generally Tom Clancy games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very Tom Clancy. The other, there's also a lot of terrain you have to cover that is just running,
A lot of running.
and there's nothing.
There is fast travel.
There's fast travel once you unlock safe houses, but just getting from place to place, it's going to be a lot of fast travel to here, which is essentially the version of go to the planet in Destiny, and then start the mission. But it's a ways, and I don't imagine they're going to include any kind of vehicle.
No.
Because the city is so trashed that there's just no way you'd navigate it except on maybe like a bicycle, maybe a hoverboard.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Like an actual hoverboard or the what they call a hoverboard these days?
Please.
No, the fake one
Technology
that
hasn't
Tony Hawk
advanced
was
that
on in
far.
that video.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's all super cool. It is very cold there in the game. It's winter.
It's always winter.
Always winter.
Maybe they'll update it and it'll be summer at some
Oh,
point.
maybe we'll get
That'd
another
be pretty
season
cool.
as DLC.
I think they're just like showing off the snow.
I think the shit has just gone so wrong that no one's saved these people for more than a season. But yeah, and the whole map of New York isn't yet available, so there's not as far to go. But it's a lot of hoofing it with not anything to see between A and B.
Yeah.
It's a destroyed cityscape that
So
looks
that's essentially an interactive loading screen?
kinda. I mean, it's like when you play like Plants vs Zombies. When you're halfway downloaded, it lets you just start the game and run around in an empty townscape. It feels a lot like that sometimes, where you're running through just a town, where you might stumble on a collectible or a side mission, but most of the time, and occasionally you'll even stumble on an enemy. But unlike Destiny, when you're running around on the map, most of the time when you're going from A to B, there's just nothing
Yeah.
except for dogs.
A lot of
Well, I like
dogs.
dogs.
A lot of stray dogs.
Dogs are cool. Are they nice dogs?
Yes.
I mean, I just shoot them on
Sweet.
sight to make
I've
sure.
not been attacked by one.
You just got to put them down. Really, it's safe.
Ryan
for
apparently kills
everyone.
the dogs. Do you get experience for it?
Life experience.
All right, yeah, fair enough.
I guess we shouldn't be that surprised.
That he killed the dogs?
Yeah.
No.
Bob Barker, it man, spay and neuter 'em.
Bob Barker did not kill the dogs.
Hey, he killed their children.
Which
true.
is exactly the same.
It is.
He like time machined it. He killed the children before they were born.
That's right.
Yeah.
But speaking of Plants vs Zombies, you've been playing that too, right?
Yeah, we've played a fair amount of PVZ 2, which they just started like their free content parade. I'm not sure what that is, but I think it's. So I'm not going to speculate.
Well, what? You mean the DLC they just released or the content that they just released recently?
they
That
actually
update?
started something called a free content parade. I'll look it up real quick. But yeah, no, we've played a fair amount of PVZ 2. Is it? Did you like PVZ 1?
I never played it.
You never played 1. Okay.
No, I this is the first PVZ I played.
How do you feel about 2?
I'm liking it. I'm at this point now where I feel done with it. Like I feel like I just played everything that I needed to play.
Okay.
But I'm still playing it because I'm so close to 1,000 pointing it. I just really want to get it done, but it's gonna take a long time.
See, that's a
That
bad
works on
sign,
you,
though.
huh?
That works perfectly on me.
You saying that you feel like you're done with it is really kind of a bad sign for the game, though, because it is a multiplayer.
But that could
focused
also just be
game.
me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not, I'll get addicted to playing a Call of Duty game for like a week and jumping into the multiplayer and stuff like that. But then I'm done with it.
Uh-huh.
I'm on to the next thing. It is fun. I mean, for people who like oh, look, it's from the Let's Play. Hey. Yeah, for people who like online multiplayer, fast-paced games, then you'll like this one, especially if you like the first one. As far as I can tell, it's very similar from what I've heard.
I've always liked the look of this game because it's a shooter, it's competitive, and yet it doesn't look like it.
No, it's very fun. It's kept fun, like when you play Call of Duty and you're online shooting people and stuff like that. You kind of can feel stressed out by it. Like it is very competitive and stuff. This is like even if you lose, they help you feel like you didn't. Like it's definitely oriented towards a younger audience.
So it's like you must build a boat where you win every time.
No, you definitely lose.
you lose. You sure lose, but they soften the blow.
You still get some coins, and it's like, hey, go buy some more sticker packs, kid. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Right.
Maybe
sticker
you
packs.
still finished a couple quests because it's got a quest board. It's got.
Yep.
There's another game that's almost sort of Destiny-ified. Where
Yeah, it's
now
got a
you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's got quests. You go do, but like not even bounties is how. Yeah, it's got a
Right.
bounty board. You know, you go and they're like, oh,
That update
vanquish
every
20 corn.
2 days, right?
Yeah,
It's
which
not
is
every
weird.
day, which is kind of strange.
Every other day.
Yeah. You get a new list of objectives.
That's
and
what's
some of them are-
screwing me over is that they give you a whole list of objectives, and
Uh-huh.
sometimes one of them will be an epic objective, which
You need to
takes
do
however
6.
much longer. For an achievement, you need to do 10 of them. 10 gamer
10
score
epic
achievement.
ones?
10 epic quests, and they sometimes have one every 2 days. Sometimes they don't. And
Yeah.
you gotta wait another 2 days to see if there's one that time. You need 10 of those. Ugh.
First fix was free. Now you got to work for it.
Yep. So we still need that one. There's like they have an infinity mode, an endless mode, which is totally different from the rest of the game. It feels like you're in like giant robots that like have nothing to do with plants or zombies.
You're a giant
You're either-
dinosaur robot.
Yeah, you're either a triceratops or a cat.
Yeah.
And then you
Well,
just
that
fight.
all sounds good to me.
Oh, it's
You fight
pretty fun,
waves
actually.
and waves of like
Endless
gnomes.
waves of gnomes. For the plants. I don't know what the zombie equivalent is.
It's gnomes. Yeah. It's still the gnomes, but then like anywhere that there were zombies, replace that with plants, like the giant ones and stuff like that. We played it for an hour
Yeah.
or so.
Was it a full hour? It flew by because we did 4 waves and then found out we needed to do one more.
We lost on wave 25. If we had beaten wave 25, that was a 100 gamer score achievement.
Was it? Is it like 5 and then a boss? Is that
It's
okay?
4 waves, and the 5th
4
wave
waves.
has a boss in it.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me read this real quick. Whether you're wearing a suit or sweats, you spend almost 24 hours a day in your underwear. But instead of making a statement like Superman's tights under his everyday clothes, you wear underwear. Probably, kind of boring. MeUndies is here to change that. Every pair of MeUndies is made from sustainably produced modal, a fabric that's twice as soft as cotton. Nothing can describe the fit and feel of MeUndies, but once you try them on, you'll understand why they're called the world's most comfortable underwear. And if you don't live... Seriously, who... There's so many words that are wrong.
Hold on. Ryan's criticizing words for being wrong.
Oh,
All right, you want... and if you don't live your first pair of MeUndies...
well,
But really what we mean is if you don't love them, like I'm sure Jeremy loves mine. He's wearing them right now. Jeremy's wearing my MeUndies.
everything about that was so wrong.
But if you don't love them,
Or so right.
Yeah.
they're free. No questions asked. MeUndies has dozens of styles and limited edition prints to help you make a statement with your underwear, whether anyone can see them or not. Hold on, it turned. Remember, Superman. Shipping is free in the U.S. and Canada, and you can save up to $8 a pair with your MeUndies subscription plan. Get the subscription or a single pair. Get 20% off your first order when you go to MeUndies.com/thepatch. That's MeUndies.com/thepatch for 20% off your first order.
Question.
Yes.
What sound does Superman make?
That's Face from Nick Jr.
There was a great-
I had him on my screen the other day.
Huh?
Yeah, Face.
There was a great writing
watch Blue's
prompt
Clues.
on Reddit the other day that was, you live in the world of Superman, but Superman is actually just really delusional and not very smart. And so he thinks that it's always the great adventure, but everyone has to live with him. Like he just...
Everyone
well,
is just
That'd be
humoring
horrible.
him.
Yeah, well, they just humor him and let him it's like he'll just run into a closet and change into a Superman outfit and pop back out and they never have any idea that I'm actually Clark Kent. Ha!
Well, you would humor him, like a guy who could
You know you would.
split the world in half if he so
Or
felt like it.
does he only think he's splitting the world in half? He's delusional, remember?
Oh,
If so,
that's
is
a
it
good
just
point.
a guy with no
I think
powers?
the writing prompt was that he actually had the powers, but he wasn't really a hero. He always thought he was fighting the big bad guy. It's like everyone he encountered on the street was like, "Oh, my old nemesis, street crossy guy."
That he would kill them.
No, Superman doesn't kill them, does he?
Wow, maybe.
I mean, I would.
Real
he must
Superman.
have killed someone. Look at all all the destruction and stuff.
I mean, I'm not
Superman
talking about the new. Is it Zack Snyder is doing the new Batmans? Who's doing the new ones? I'm not talking
yeah.
about those versions.
right where he
does. Like
kills.
old school.
I'm not talking about
Zod.
the building destruction of cities.
Oh yeah, and let's not even you just ignore everybody that died in the building collapse. That's for
Exactly.
Batman versus
Exactly.
Superman.
Right, yeah,
we'll
yeah.
handle that then. Okay, so
Although, isn't that why Batman's upset?
Bro,
that's
as far
what
as
they're
we know.
selling. We'll see.
All right.
Maybe they're lying in the trailer.
Sweet. Well, yeah, we'll find out, I guess. They're expecting a $300 to $340 million opening weekend for that movie.
And I expect they'll probably get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Deadpool did, right? It did 30?
Yeah, but Deadpool's totally sweet.
Well, I mean,
Fuck Superman,
Batman
yeah.
and Superman?
I don't know. I guess I like my comic book movies a little bit lighter in tone than they're going with these.
Like Guardians.
Like
I mean-
I did like the grittier Batman reboots, but for the most part, I like my superheroes to have a little bit of fun.
Did you not see the hard comedy they drop when Wonder Woman appears? He's like, is she with you? Oh, I thought she was with you.
I guess I somehow missed that.
Slide splitting.
Yeah. Anyway,
All right, video games.
But yeah, PvZ 2 is, they definitely took it to a more natural extension of where they were in PvZ 1. So if you liked 1, I think you'll like 2. It didn't grab me the way that the first one did. I don't know why. It was just, the first one was, I think, cheaper too. This one was priced at a full retail, but it did come with a lot of things that the first one did not have, which is like Graveyard Ops was not in the original PvZ
Right.
and was added later. So it's got a lot of game modes, and there was a lot of like zombie content that was not available in the original drop and came later as DLC, which is all included in the PvZ 2. The way they did like the little flag in the middle of the Backyard Ops is pretty cool, where there's just so many opportunities for you to just jump in to do something.
Yeah. All the story missions on both sides is
The story missions I don't like.
well, I mean they're just it's garden ops.
It's more garden ops, yeah,
for like 2 or 3 waves and then they say good job.
pretty much.
That's the corn kind of sounds like that. Colonel Corn.
I could have done without that, and I really don't like that they continue to take up 2 of your quest slots forever. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I
You're
didn't
stuck
even
with
think about that. So you can only take a certain amount of bounties from the bounty board. And each I almost said each week. Every 2 days, they give you another like 15 or so, but you can only hold 5. But I guess technically you can hold 7, but 2 of them are taken up by story.
Permanently, yeah.
That just never goes away.
so they're just not bounty slots, really.
I guess.
Essentially, yeah. They're
you,
just
you
They
can
were
hold
never-
like 5 or 6.
They were never gonna be.
All right.
well, yeah, but they're
Yeah.
there, and you feel like they should go away and let me put something there because
Maybe if
finish
you
your
beat
thing,
infinite mode, they'll
Maybe
go
so.
away.
Is it because you feel like anything in those slots should be completable?
Well, it's just it's on that. It's in the same area where you put all those bounties. So yeah,
You think you should be
why
able to
once
go
you
away,
beat those,
hold
do
2
you have to
more
look at
bounties?
them forever? Sorry, my pocket's blowing up.
Sounds painful.
Yeah, man, it's exploding constantly.
It's the MeUndies.
It is not MeUndies, believe it or not. They're probably not happy with me for reading that ad wrong, but
Well, look, let's see, here we go.
MeUndies is texting you like
As-
Superman doesn't make that
As
noise.
Dropped Hero on Twitter said, you live by the underwear, you die by the underwear.
it's true.
So-
that sounds like the worst wedgie ever.
To
Die by the underwear.
It split you in twain.
At least if it was a MeUndie giving you a wedgie, it'd be very soft. It'd
very
be
soft.
Silky.
All modal.
Comforting.
Oh,
A modal.
Modal.
A
As
modal wedgie.
As it caresses you all the way through, from
All the way up
stem
your
to stern.
spine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're comfortable.
Yeah, I don't know that even modal can make that comfortable.
So I guess the other big thing that came out recently was, well, I'm sure there's been several. There's been a lot of talk about the culling on Steam. Also, but the other one I've played lately is the.
Yeah, can I just say, Bernie showed me the culling on Steam yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, it's like they made like the Hunger Games. It's like you got 20 minutes to like get all this stuff and kill each other." And I was like, "So it's a free for all multiplayer action game where you kill each other?" And he was like, "No, it's totally different." In what way is that fucking different?
Look, you have to
Every
find
game,
weapons and
every
build
free for all
weapons
game where
and
you have a
traps.
single life is Hunger Games.
Is it-
then.
is it
every
free?
single one?
Is it a free to play?
No, it's not free to play.
Oh, free for all. Sorry.
Free for all, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's. I guess the major twist to it now is that you have one. You can like build traps instead of just strictly weapons, but you start with nothing and have to acquire weaponry and defeat all your opponents. I guess in a hard 20-minute time limit. So it is very Hunger Gamesian in that sense. Which it's,
I'm sure it's fun. We'll do a let's play.
We'll
of
do a
it.
let's play. It's 16 players, I think. 16 or 18.
20?
No, because it
Oh,
was like
20
16
minutes.
players in 20 minutes.
There it is.
I like the little hand bobs. Beep, 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 beep.
Dude, he's
That
got
would be
his,
doing
he's got his
this.
fisticuffs up. Yeah.
I really enjoyed. Was it Firewatch? Someone released what it looked like for the character outside,
yeah.
like the running. It's probably just like that with those hands.
It's got giant arms, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But the other thing I played recently,
That's what they do. They
it
run
really
like
is.
this.
He's run. He has to be running.
It's like games
this
like that
to
when
see
you
it.
hold the gun like this. Like when you see the gun in first person, it's like this, and you aim, and you must go.
Pew 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 pew. The Sky Fortress DLC for Just Cause 3.
Yep.
Ooh,
We
it's
got
fun.
to. It's a lot of fun. We got to play with it early, and I believe it is now out. And yeah, no, it really takes that whole flying around the thing to the next level. Like, I didn't realize I missed having a wingsuit until they gave me a wingsuit, and now that they added a jetpack to the wingsuit,
You don't know how you
I
went
don't
without
know how I can go back to
It's
just
just
a
so
wingsuit.
it's so great. Just to be like, I want to go over there now. I don't have to worry about like the grapple hooker and just.
It's literally
over
the
there.
best Iron Man game that's ever been made.
It's true.
It really is. Because you take off and you've got machine guns and rockets, and you can just fly around.
The thing that Just
I'm
Cause does
always-
really well
Is
makes
have an
you
invincible Rico?
yes is that you're overpowered. I love that in games. Like if
Mm.
I play a game a lot, I want to be totally overpowered. Like there's nothing better than being Rico and you fuck up and you just like dive bomb head first into a mountain and you just stand up.
Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like how annoying would that be?
Physics
If
has
every
no
time you
power
crash,
here.
you die.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Well, you'd be dying a lot in that game as far
I mean,
as
if you
Right.
crash twice, you die.
Also-
in the space of about 5 seconds.
oh yeah, you're really gonna want it.
Yeah. And I've wanted it a few times, unfortunately, but
I wish more games just did that. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you play through the whole game and you start going into the you know, getting achievements and stuff afterwards, I just make me overpowered. I don't care about it if it's not fair to the enemies I've played.
I'm curious how it worked. If it's running okay on Xbox, though. Have you tried it since they've done any
I'm not
patches and updates on
I'm
it?
Scared.
It's as far as I can tell, it's been working just fine on Xbox.
Well, it had some severe performance issues there for a while, but did they address them?
I mean,
I
currently,
think so. Well, there
Yeah.
was an update for it when I tried to play it again recently. I think like a month ago, maybe even sooner than that. But there was an update and it seemed to be running better. Now they've added a whole nother thing though. I mean, what was causing those issues was all the explosions you could have going on. As soon as that happened, I was dropping down to, you know,
Picture show.
yeah, it was bad. It was like 10 frames a second if. But now that they've added a jetpack that can shoot rockets, and
Just one. Well,
Well, it
you can
reloads
upgrade it
pretty
to
quick,
3.
and it has the machine
You can
gun.
upgrade it to 3 and machine guns.
there's a lot of explosions in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
but
there
with the
a
jetpack,
country
you just
left by the time you finish liberating it?
No, you
That's
build a
what I
better
meant.
one.
You
It's
are a
cool.
massive terrorist.
Oh yeah.
In Just Cause.
You're always
I
a
mean,
terrorist in
yeah.
every one of these games. Granted, they make it kind of make you feel better about it by making it really awful regimes.
Well,
Still.
sure. But
Fly
yeah,
into this
it's like
town
you're
and
always
destroy the water
rebel.
tower.
You destroy everything.
You are taking out the basic infrastructure needed for life in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
This one is not as bad. Most of the time, you're not taking out water towers. You're taking out, all right, the most
Communication.
civilian thing that you're taking out. You don't really ever take out communication. You take out propaganda.
But you also have to. We also have to claim the towns, though, right?
Yes.
You do. Well, you liberate them.
You
I'm
destroy
sorry.
everything
I'm
in
sorry.
it.
Free them.
You have to bring them freedom.
You break all the billboards and all the statues of dictator dumb shit.
Then you put
and
up
then
a flag.
you put a flag up, and then it's yours.
Yeah.
And all the guys that are currently shooting at you as you erect the flag go, he put the flag up. we
If
gotta
there's
go."
one thing we know,
See ya.
it's that once you put the flag there, it's all yours.
yeah, it's-
I mean, that's why
International flag
That's why
law,
we
yeah.
own the moon, right?
That's how we live here. We're like, hey, this
yeah,
is
the
our
moon,
now.
the moon is ours. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
no,
excuse
definitely
me.
not.
Excuse me. Do you have a flag? No. Well then, this is ours. and they just go.
British colonialism.
They just say, "You got a point, I guess."
Do you have a flag?
If only we made a flag.
Eddie
How about this
Izzard.
stick? That is Eddie Izzard.
Dude, that entire stand-up from Eddie Izzard was amazing.
That's a good one. That's the
That was
take
a
or
good
death
one.
one.
Isn't that the also the one where he was talking about learning French?
I think so.
Something like le chat sur la table.
Yeah. Yep, that is that one.
Yeah,
It's a good one.
he's a genius,
And
and he looks killer in heels.
Popo. But yeah, no, if you like Just Cause 3, you'll like the edition. It adds a whole other storyline. There's the Sky Fortress up in the air that you can fly to.
Mm-hmm. There's
and,
achievements. Gotta go get
There's
those.
additional achievements. There's,
Did you 100%
I did.
vanilla?
Yep.
Those wingsuit missions, kind of crazy.
The wingsuit missions, some of them were really difficult. The destruction missions, like
The mortar one in particular.
Oh my gosh,
sucks.
a lot of those missions, the frenzies is what they were called. They give you a weapon and say, all right, cause this much damage, get 5 gears worth of damage. Like the mortar was impossible because you shoot it up in the air, you aim at something, it shoots straight up, and then in 5 seconds, it might hit it.
Right. It comes down from the sky and hits something, maybe.
Right. So the way to do that was to get in a helicopter.
Could you get in the helicopter?
Oh,
in
you
that
could
one?
just get in a helicopter, ignore the mortar completely, and just rinse.
Oh, damn
and
it.
it counts.
I thought I tried to get around it because you could also use your grappling hook, and anything that you set up before you actually pulled the trigger on it would immediately count. So you can set up a bunch of things to crush.
Time doesn't start until you destroy
Right.
something.
I was hoping I'd use maybe the jetpack in the same way. I was like, oh, no, maybe I can still fly and use the
I
missile.
wonder how they're gonna. Yeah.
Does not work.
Oh, you tried it?
I was full. I kicked it off. I flew up in the air, shot something, and as soon as it started the thing, my jetpack went away and I just fell out of the sky.
They just turned it off.
Like, bullshit.
Awesome.
Gotcha.
That's awesome.
They took my rocket, they took my machine gun, and they took a
You have
lot
to
of
do
my
it for the-
momentum, and I just went straight down.
You have to do it for the jet frenzies too. Jet frenzies
Mm-hmm.
are impossible. I don't know how anyone does it. Like
the one that I've tried, you take off at the base, it's like the flight system is not tight enough to pull it around.
You have to like
and-
turn around and try and aim at stuff, but but you got to look right at it if you're gonna
Yeah.
shoot it. So you got to turn off in time. Just use find a helicopter. And use it.
Helicopters, okay.
Yep.
That's the
That's the
secret
way
of
to
Just
do it.
Cause 3 challenges. Do the helicopters.
Helicopters and grappling hooks. So-
Everyone loves a helicopter.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's true.
All right, well, that's probably about... No, we're
we got a little
minutes. So you
time.
got anything else?
We
What you
talked
got?
almost entirely about games for this hour. They're very enjoyable.
did,
Y'all
yeah.
should take up farming. But one news thing to discuss is Microsoft canceling Fable Legends
Right.
Yeah.
and
Lionhead.
and closing Lionhead, and they also are canceling a couple of other games. And 5 more studios I think have been removed from their list.
Is this why
as
Epic's
well.
pissed off?
So it seems to be like it may be related. Epic, the CEO Tim Sweeney is upset about the Universal Windows platform because he believes it's Microsoft's move to make a monopoly on PC gaming to strangle the market, essentially. So that I guess some of the coding that takes place in order to make a multi-platform game that works on Windows and Xbox and theoretically Windows Phone, like all of that code operates at a different level than your usual implementation. Like, for example, if you were going to have your own servers or like your own stuff, but you distribute through Steam, that is all coded at a different level than what UWP is.
Mm-hmm.
So that you'd have to make different versions of your game in order to try to distribute it multiple places. And I don't think Windows is allowing that in any case. But I'm not
Interesting.
100% clear on that detail. So he thinks that Microsoft's trying to force everyone into their store or whatever.
Microsoft has a real issue with someone. It's funny because you can see how someone had a good idea, and then it became corporate monopoly. It's like
Yeah.
the same thing with Internet Explorer, where we'll make it kind of like core level operating system thing, and it's just an integrated browser, and then they got sued into the Stone Age for building it into the OS meant that it was monopolistic activities.
Right,
essentially.
which I always found weird because how are you supposed to get your other browsers if you don't have
It's
a
a
browser?
good point. Yeah, you
Yeah.
need something to get to anything else, which they never precluded you from installing anything else. But it's one of so frequently they'll have this idea where it's like this. You could see someone in a sales room going, "Oh, we'll just build this thing in, and then they'll have it there, and it's not a big deal." And then someone from the outside, like, that
Billions
Look
of
what they're
dollars.
doing.
Billions.
look what they're doing. They're trying to force everyone to use this one thing.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
this could be the same thing.
I get why UWP would be made the way it is because if you're trying, like, you need to try to contain as many variables as possible if you're going to try and make something work across several platforms, especially if you want them to work together, like cross-platform multiplayer and all that kind of stuff. So I can see why they would do it. I can also see why it could be an issue for developers. Supposedly it was an issue for Motiga as well. They just had a whole bunch of layoffs. The guys that are making Gigantic, which is another game, MOBA style game that looks similar to PVZ, looks
It's like cartoony.
cuter.
And
Yeah. But that they were having a lot of trouble with Windows 10 implementations for that specific reason. So it may be that this whole UWP has a lot of kinks to work out before it's really feasible. That said, They seemed so close on Fable Legends. This is a bizarre time to cancel it.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone, like, it was in closed beta. People were reporting from the beta that it was very polished for a closed beta, that they were expecting an actual release anytime. They were getting ready to sell Founders Packs and all kinds of stuff. And then all of a sudden, nope, it's gone.
Look, they didn't have Peter
Like, it seems
there
like,
anymore.
what happened?
Peter wasn't there to tell
That
you
seems
how
like
many
a,
amazing things
that
were going
seems
to be
like
in
a
it.
good thing.
He could have told you all about all the features that were going to be just part of Fable Legends that you didn't know you'd been living without for all this time, but were fundamental to your experience as a human.
It's the power of touch.
And then no one touches you.
No.
This is a huge waste of money, right? Like,
Well, yeah, no, I
you
mean
know,
it's
to
like
pay for that
Ghost
whole
all over in
development, they'd be
StarCraft
like,
Ghost.
see ya.
How many times was that developed and then never released as a product?
That's a good point.
People have been talking about Legends forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, while I don't see it as, I have to practice putting everything in past tense now. While I didn't see it as a proper Fable game by any means, and I don't know why it was using the franchise name, it didn't seem like it needed to, it was so different, it looked like it was going to be a really cool experience. And so I'm a little bit bummed that it's gone. It was going to be a really cool asymmetrical gameplay. Like, it looked really pretty. Lots of cool stuff. There must have been some crazy shit happening behind the scenes.
Do you
Yeah.
think maybe Evolve's kind of underperforming started to kind of sour the asymmetrical markets?
Maybe,
Market-
but then wouldn't they have
market,
made a
market.
call, like, I don't know, a year ago?
Well, business is a slow process. You have to analyze and have
A lot
someone
of
else.
people, you gotta go. Yeah,
So
it's,
really, you got to find who's going to take the blame.
you get there eventually.
Peter Molyneux.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's I'm a little sad that Lionhead's closed. I was very happy. We did a whole news update about it, and one of my favorite things was in the comments afterwards, all the people that were really sad that we'll never get Black and White 3, because I am on board with that. I knew we would never see a Black and White 3, but I would have loved just keeping the hope alive.
Don't worry, it's
however
fine. It'll be
feeble.
Kickstarted.
Probably.
Somebody will just Kickstarter it, and then they'll raise. I'm going to say they'll raise.
And then they'll get shut down by Microsoft for not actually licensing it.
$4 million and never make it to a computer.
Ooh,
I'm
Ryan,
calling
that
it
is a
right
claim.
now.
That is a claim.
It
Okay,
raises $4 million and never gets released.
there it is. Okay, people are
calling
gonna
now.
reference back to this later when this happens. They're
This
gonna
would
like,
be the
"Ryan
day that
called-"
Ryan called the future.
I see the subreddit post now. Look what I found. Ryan called this. That's what it's gonna be.
It's going to be
Timestamp.
the actual post will be Ryan 100% wrong.
Well, yeah, but that's usual, right?
Well,
That's
the-
really no different from most other days.
When they release the headline of Black and White 3, never gonna happen. That's the headline.
It's just someone sitting there burning the actual code for it. All right, so that is the patch. Join us next week, and we will have another episode where we probably talk more about games.
Will we?
Well, you don't know. I don't know.
Spoilers.